Hello everyone, we're back for part 2 of my interview with, again, Leloric. First part we covered Scarlet Witch, you talked a bit about current state of the game, about 1.3. Next up is The Thing, here he is, in his crazy costume. And Leloric has The Thing also to 60, without further ado I would like to invite you to the training room yeah, you just mentioned that you're basically playing him as more as a bruiser than a pure tank, because he fits that role better. Is he can you play him as a full tank as well? Is it viable or?
Um, I think so with some of the skills, although I don't have great use with him. I mean, he's got the one skill that basically blocks. You'd want to max the taunt and max your block, but at that point you're not really doing much. You know, you're just kind of sitting there blocking because it's an active block. Um, so I think it'd be. I think you could. I just don't think he fits that role as good as other heroes can. So I just avoid it.
And which heroes do you mean? Like you said, it was Emma, and
Emma, I mean, Captain's great at tanking. I mean, his damage is poor, but he can absorb almost anything. Those two, and even Miss Marvel is pretty strong as a tank. If I wanted to go pure out tank, I think I'd go with either of those three versus Thing.
okay, fair enough. Um, let's go through the three builds again, so people can see all abilities. The Rocky Punch is his basic attack. He then has a Bruising Punch, which gives extra vulnerability, and then he has Fantastic Haymaker, which gives enemy damage reduction, so like a weakened effect. If I see this, I almost instantly think Bruising Punch is the best.
Yeah, it is. If you're trying to go full tank or something, you might go with Fantastic Haymaker. But bruising, especially when you're playing him as a a bruiser type, that's definitely the rate you want to go. Anything that ups your damage is going to be more optimal usually.
I can't wait to try this out.
Yeah, so that said, then I'm building the build, as you might be able to see, and just build it while we go. Then you have like the big hitters. You have the backhand smash, the bash, headbutt. Uh, any of these three you use?
Headbutt. I run a max headbutt. I know a lot of players will only go like one in it because it gets a bunch of damage anyways. And the bulk of the damage from it is going to be from damage rating, which Thing has a bunch of. But the biggest reason I run it more is at rank 34, my headbutt does 6.9 second knockdown. So that works on bosses and stuff, which is kind of the big reason I like to have that extra CC available for it. So. And it does more damage, than just putting one rank. It still does more. It doesn't scale that great, but it does do more.
Okay. What's the damage rating coefficient or?
On that one, last I checked, it was 2.0, but they may have changed it because that was like a patch or two ago. So I think it's still at 2.0, but I would have to check again.
So it comes into the range of the knockdown of the Panther and DPS.
Yeah, exactly, and it actually scales a little bit better on the base damage. So I mean, and Thing, I'm pretty sure Thing has the most possible damage rating on any heroes because of both his aura, clobbering time, and some other options that he has there. So he can get a pretty big boost off that.
Awesome. Do you use Center of Attention?
Yes, I do use Center of Attention. That plus a ton is a huge boost to your damage. So I always use Center of Attention on that. I have it maxed out.
Awesome. Ground Smash, is that good AoE wise?
It's not my option. I don't think it's horrible, but it's not what I use for AoE. I mostly use this charge for AoE coupled with the leap because they're both movement skills, and with the movement skills I can use the Electro Medallion and both get health back and fuel them spirit wise. So I go that route for my AoE stuff.
Okay, so do you have actually your charge and leap maxed then as well?
I have charge leap or maxed, and I have 1 point in leap. So Leap has a cooldown, so it's kind of hard to justify putting all that into it, although it does do some pretty good damage at that point, but I just didn't have the points to steal from elsewhere, because you want to have, like I said, I have Headbutt max. I have 3 maxed in that first tree, and then I've got 2 maxed in the second tree, and then the aura in the third, so that really doesn't leave many points. That's 120 of your 127 right there. So I only do 1 point in leap, and it still does. With clobbering time, let me see here. When clobbering time's up, my tooltip damage is 7606 to 9355, and then if they're aggroed on me, which I usually do a taunt right before I do it, that's another big chunk of damage on it. So it's pretty decent even at 1 point, especially if you got a lot of plus skill stuff.
Okay. I assume then that you don't use directive shockwave. Do you know any people that use that actually? And what other points do you use here? Do you max clobbering time, for example?
Yeah, I do. I max clobbering time. Anything usually that will do passive damage, which means I don't have to do another attack, is always pretty good. Plus the attack and move speed is huge. Defense. I mean, clobbering time is it's almost a no-brainer. 1,000 damage rating for me, 13, 26 defense, and 25% attack and move speed. Basically indefinite. I mean, duration's 30 seconds, cooldown's 24.5. So at that point, I can keep it on full time. So.
So hard as a rock you don't use then because you play as a bruiser, I guess, and the same with Jag Defender.
Well, I have 6 points in hard as a rock because I still like the tenacity and the defense. I mean, that's still important to have some mitigation. And then with all my plus gear and stuff, that actually goes up to 18 because I have his unique chest piece, which is actually a helmet, but it gives that as well as 2 of my other skills I like to use. It gives, aggressive aura, which is the damage aura. It gives that as well as headbutt. So, and then hard as rock, and then it gives 4 to all brawler powers. So that's a really big boost for a lot of the skills that I like to use. And then I also have his the belt, which is giving me +5 to all of his rock pile charges. So between those two, and I think I've got. Yeah, between those two, I basically have, like I said, I have 18 in that, so it gives me a pretty good benefit there without having to put many points into it. Same with Granite Defense. I only put 1 point into that, which it's a really nice skill, and it's nice to have, and higher ranks would be great, but it's also because it ups the maximum damage absorbed by it. But it still stays up pretty well, and I can keep it going most of the time, so it's an extra 50% damage reduction.
Do you have like 1 point in Jag Defender just to add it, or you don't, or you pass on it? The same for the Endure Assault.
Yeah, I put 1 into Jagged Defender. Almost any passive, I always put 1 point in because it's just you get plus skills and stuff, and it makes it worthwhile. And it's not something you have to spend an attack or spirit to do. So it's basically free stuff. It's free damage. Plus, when I'm taunting, I'm getting extra damage there, and slowing things and makes them do less damage. So I mean, it's got a lot of benefit to it. It's kind of buggy. I know there's some things not working with it. For a while there, I think right after 1.2, it was really good because it was reflecting from ranged as well as melee and a few other things. So it's and I'm not sure if it's working now as intended or if it's not working at all. I haven't really done a lot of testing on it, but from the Thing forums, I've definitely seen some people complaining about it not working right. So, but I still put 1 point in it.
Okay, then the last tree is the teammate tree. It's only going to be damage rating, as I assume.
The aura I put 1 point in. Sorry, phone keeps going off. I put 1 point in the taunt, and then the plus skills to get some more, because if anything, it helps to be able to just kind of control things a little bit and make sure that you're getting your center of attention bonus. So as well as if you're playing against something like Black Panther, or with something like Black Panther, or the Black Widow synergy, you're always giving them extra bonus too, because you're taking the aggro off them.
And that's the bolt challenge that you use then, right?
I use the bold, yeah, and it also gives me some spirit back when I'm hit, so that's always good. I just have 1 point in it, but you could use either taunt. The other one will reduce some damage done to you, but with only 1 point, you're not going to weaken that much. So I think the spirit back on hit is more beneficial there. It's something that I wouldn't mind getting the higher rank in, actually, to have just a longer duration, so that I didn't have to use it as often, because some bosses do resist it a fair bit.
Okay, and then all points in aggressive aura.
Yeah, aggressive's maxed, and then I got skills into it too. Mine sits at 33, which gives 709 damage rating, 402 crit rating to everything around me. So everybody around. So that's a really nice boost there for me and for anybody on the team.
Yeah, that's quite massive. So let's go clobbering. Hit some target damage. You can see what it actually does in action.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the headbutt's kind of one of my main moves. The first single target, I try to use that a lot, and as you see, I'm getting 15k for the base, and I'm not really that well geared. 25k in crits, so that's definitely the big one there. And then the bruising, gives a little bit more, or you can see 5,000, 8,000 crits, so it's not bad. Those are basically my single target, and then if I'm doing multi-target, then I switch to my my movement powers. So I go through like this and just dodge through. You can see it's got a pretty good area of effect when he does that. And then when my leap's off, I do my leap to add in. So and with the Electro Medallion, I basically keep my spirit up constantly doing that. So that's a really nice setup there. He's actually got some of the better AoE for a melee hero out of any of them out there.
Awesome. I also crit for like 11k there when everything was buffed and stuff.
Yeah. One problem with multiple things though that we noticed, because another friend mine was running a thing, is the auras don't stack. So unlike a lot of stuff that does stack, sometimes it's good to have 1 point in a different aura. If anything, just in case you run them with both. But either way, I mean, it's not a huge deal either way. But it definitely is nice to maybe have that option if you do run with two. So one thing I also do is if I know I'm fighting a lot of bosses, or if I'm playing Thing a lot, I'll carry a Modok medallion in my backpack, because as you can see, I mean, my damage, I put that on now and it went up quite a bit. So
That was a 50k.
Yeah, so he can put out some pretty good single target damage. It's slow. I mean, it's a slow attack, and that's why he's not, and he doesn't have any dots or anything to supplement it like Black Panther's slower attacks. So he's kind of middle of the road, maybe borderline top 10 on single target damage if you build him like this. But he's adequate, and he's a lot more durable than Black Panther, which is kind of nice sometimes.
Yeah, if you compare him to the Hulk, which is some hero that comes closest to him, who do you think would win out?
I don't have Hulk myself, so it's hard to say. I've just from seeing some of the other people with Hulk, I think Hulk's a lot better on the AoE aspect. I think his leap does more damage and stuff, but I think Thing actually beats him out single target from what I've seen, and that depends because different gear and stuff. I mean, my gear's not very good. I'm basically barely 60. I haven't even capped out the 61. Where you go up to just a point below level 61. So I still got some XP to get. So I'm not that far into being capped or anything on him. So.
Okay. Someone on the forum was mentioning like Thing had only one build, but what do you think? What are his what build options does he have? So, like you say, you could build him a tank. He's not the best one, but you could make him like you. Are there any other options?
Give me just a sec. I got a phone call.
No worries. Yeah, I was also wondering. I'm gonna ask him later. Is how durable is the Thing in this build as well? Kind of depend on the gear as well, because you can get the lifesteal back, and then if you make some gear decisions, you can probably get away with some stuff.
All right. I actually have to kind of wrap this up fairly quick. I got to go pick up my daughter. I
It's no problem.
apologize.